For more, I'm joined by former DHS Senior Advisor Charles Marino and former Acting ICE Director and former federal prosecutor Jonathan Fahey. Gentlemen, welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
Utah's governor talked about some of the inscriptions on the bullets. Let's play that, and I'll get you to react.
Inscriptions on a fired casing read, "Notices bulges, capital OWO, what's this question mark?" A second unfired casing read, "Oh, Bella Chow, Bella Chow, Bella Chow, Chow, Chow."
What do you make of that, Charles?
Well, you know, the unique situation in this case is that the suspect's still alive. He didn't take his own life, and he wasn't killed by law enforcement as part of being apprehended. So we've got a source here, in addition to all of the other evidence that's being collected, to find out specifically what the motivation was and what was going on inside this kid's head. I expect him to cooperate with law enforcement. The death penalty's on the table in Utah, and I'm sure his attorneys will use that as a negotiating point to try and get it removed.
Kash Patel spoke about the FBI's performance. Let's play him.
The FBI immediately launched fixed-wing assets. We utilize these assets to transport personnel, specialty technicians, hostage rescue teams. We also utilize these assets to go back and forth from the East Coast and here in Utah to transport forensic evidence and other evidence that will be analyzed and is being analyzed at our FBI laboratories in Quantico and other laboratories, including the ATF.
Jonathan, how do you assess the federal response? And Kash Patel has taken some heat about his performance personally. What about all that?
I think it's been quite good, and it's easy. All of these situations are these rapidly evolving situations. So, sometimes mistakes are made and they're amplified, but it seems like they gave more than enough federal resources to help catch him and also help analyze the crime scene. And this will be quite important as this case gets ready for trial, because they will have the best experts analyzing every piece of forensic evidence, because the most important thing at this point is to convict this person, and we don't want to lose sight of that. So putting the evidence together to convict him at trial. So I think it's been quite good. The resources are there, and they're going to continue to be there, whether or not it's prosecuted in the state level or the federal level.
Charles, a big question now is, how do you secure events on places like college campuses going forward?
Yeah, the security planning has to match the threat level, and that threat level has to be assessed in realistic terms. We cannot prepare from a security standpoint based on how we think the world should be. We actually have to prepare for it as the world is. That's an unfortunate statement, but that's the reality. The resources that were at that venue in Utah were not sufficient. The risks were not mitigated, and we see the unfortunate result.
Jonathan, what are your thoughts about security changes going forward?
Yeah, I think there need to be more serious security at all of these events. But the one thing you want to be concerned about, you don't want to make it sort of like intimidating for people to attend events or to go to events. So there is that sort of balance, or how do you work that? But I think one of the biggest issues here is the university system, because you have these sort of woke hate factories going on at universities that are hateful to right-wing or even like conservative voices. And there's so much, you always hear about the intimidation that conservative speakers face at colleges. So I think these colleges need to step up and not only be tolerant of conservative voices, but be welcoming of conservative voices, maybe have conservative voices as commencement speakers and things like that, because it really, you see these responses from a lot of college professors, notably at Clemson, that are really embracing hatred and embracing the assassination of a political figure, which is really abhorrent, but sadly very commonplace at Americans' universities.
The State Department is warning it will revoke visas of foreigners who, quote, glorify violence after this assassination. Charles, what about that?
Well, it's bad enough we're seeing some of that behavior from U.S. citizens. What we don't have to tolerate as a country are those that want to come here or are already here as a guest on a visa, or those that are in the country illegally, fanning those flames, celebrating and promoting violence. It's destabilizing for the country, and it's why the State Department needs to further implement social media monitoring as part of the vetting process.
Jonathan, do you agree with that response from the State Department?
Yes, I do, and I think what Charles said is exactly right. Being on here on a visa is a privilege, and this administration has been putting public safety, national security first, and that should be first and foremost. So, yes, it's a good policy. We should make sure anyone that comes here is not making the American citizens less safe. So, everything they can do to keep us safe, keep the country safe, is a good thing, and maybe long overdue in a lot of respects.
Jonathan Fahey, Charles Marino, gentlemen, thanks very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, it's Will Kane. Click here to subscribe to the Fox News channel on YouTube. It's the best way to get our latest interviews and highlights. And click to subscribe to the Will Kane podcast for full episodes right now.